My first guest this week is Mr. Chaz Radovich. He is the president of Cobalis Corporation, stock symbol CLSC. It's been a while since we've seen each other, Chaz.
Yes, it has, Don. It's good to see you again.
Now, I remember we started following your company about 4 or 5 years ago. At that time, you were in pre-development of a product called Prehistin. Tell us about Prehistin.
Prehistin is the world's first prehistamine, and it's a whole new category. Unlike all the other antihistamines, which deal with the histamine cascade after it happens when you have allergies, our product deals with the trigger, what causes it to happen, so it prevents the release of histamine, as opposed to dealing with histamine after the fact. Okay,
for someone who perhaps is allergic to, say, pollen, and if they're taking Prehistin, and they're able to avoid the effects of the pollen?
Let me explain it to you a little bit further, Don. What transpires is the following. Typically, anyone allergic to either pollen, dander, dust, or anything that's the allergen pathway that triggers their allergic response, which causes the histamine release, that's known as the atopic cascade. And our product is patented here in the United States, Canada, Mexico, in the European Union, in Australia, patent pending in Japan. Basically, our product is geared to prevent the whole process from ever occurring, as opposed to being an antihistamine. It's a prehistamine, because what we do is most people that are allergic, their immune systems are out of balance, and so they're hypersensitized. And so when a foreign body, a pollen or a dander or dust enters the immune system into the body, since it's out of balance, since the aggressor and suppressor cells are not balanced, have elevated IgEs. And that's the holy grail of all of atopic allergic disease. That Ig is the protein that unlocks the mast cells and the basophils to release the histamine into the bloodstream, and that's what we're really allergic to. We're only hypersensitized to all those other things, and it's rebalancing of the immune system that Prehistin does, because it acts as an immunomodulator. It rebalances the body's immune system. The helper cells, the aggressor and suppressor cells are put back into balance. Thus automatically lowers the Ig, which is the holy grail of all allergic and atopic disease. And by lowering the Ig, you never have the lock that unlocks the cell to release the histamine, so you remove the first domino from falling, and the rest don't fall.
So I'm basically, then, I would be taking Prehistin as a preventative measure.
Right.
Is it something I would take on a daily basis, basically? How does that work?
You would take it on a daily basis. Our drug has no upper dosage limits. It's got no contra-drug indications. It's our dietary supplement, but it's like a drug, because it works in a way to where it rebalances the whole body's immune system. The main ingredient is a drug for the treatment of pernicious anemia, for the balancing of anemics. And so I feel like with all the phase 3 trials we've done, even though we had inconclusive study, it was the trial that failed, not the drug that failed. Dynavax and 4 other big pharmas all had their trials go south because there was no pollen that year. So we decided to launch it as a dietary supplement with claims that we're going to be getting from the FDA, which has been done in the past, and obviously following the SHEA regulation, to be able to say structure and function claims of our product.
Now, I know that when we were following your company several years ago, you were in pre-development of Prehistin. Where does this all stand now?
We were in pre-development because we took the high road from a research perspective. Now we're launching Prehistin, and we're doing it on a nationwide basis. We're going to be doing a nationwide television campaign and obviously global internet campaign, because the internet's global. But we also are in discussions right now with several large pharmaceutical concerns in Europe to help us distribute the product in Europe. And we intend to launch our nationwide branding campaign in approximately 30 days.
Now, you've got a sample box here.
Yeah, I sure do.
Why don't you show that?
This is
do your best,
Prehistin.
Vanna White.
This is Prehistin, and this is our product. And I can only represent that I've given away thousands of units of compassionate use product, and nothing works better than Prehistin.
Now, so it's available now. I could go online at Cobalis.com and buy it.
Under Prehistin.com.
Prehistin.com.
Prehistin.com, and you can buy it immediately. But like I said, we're going to be rolling out a nationwide campaign to brand Prehistin and bring it to retail.
Once again, we're talking with Cobalis Corporation, stock symbol CLSC, and you can call 888-259-4449 for free information, or visit Prehistin.com. Now, Chaz, we have a very sophisticated audience here at MoneyTV. When they watch our program, invariably they're going to go online and start investigating and researching some of the companies. When they do that about Cobalis, they're going to run across a Chapter 11 filing about a year or so ago. Can you bring us up to date on that?
That's correct, Don. Unfortunately, when we got our funding to pay for the trials we were doing at the time, we got it from a hedge fund out of New Jersey known as Cornell Capital or Yorkville Advisors. And when the trial went, it was inconclusive, like I mentioned earlier, they proceeded to slam out all the stock and try to take the company over and control it. And they tried to put us in a Chapter 7, which forced us to go into reorganization. And subsequently, we had a competing plan against theirs in federal bankruptcy court. And our plan won over theirs just recently, thank God. So our plan is the one moving forward victoriously. Thus, we can now launch Prehistin after a 2.5-year battle in court, and I'm really pleased to say that.
So to basically to encapsulate what you just said, they tried to take the company over under a Chapter 7 filing. You offered a Chapter 11 filing and basically beat them in court.
They offered a competing plan, and our plan won over theirs. It was a much better plan. It's a 100% plan for the shareholders, and that plan includes us launching Prehistin, like I mentioned earlier, in a nationwide campaign that'll then facilitate us taking care of all our obligations and being able to be discharged out of bankruptcy.
Okay, so that's the next step now, is to move forward and emerge from Chapter 11.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Once again, Cobalis Corporation, CLSC is the stock symbol. Chaz, why is this a good time right now for folks to take a closer look at Cobalis?
Well, for one, we've been a research and development company for many, many years, and now we're finally going fundamental. And the fact that we finally prevailed in bankruptcy court against Cornell and now can finally launch Prehistin, I believe that Prehistin is going to capture a small percentage of the overall allergy atopic market, and that market's a $30 billion market. So I think the fact that we're finally going fundamental will enable our stock to reflect a more fair valuation.
Okay, we're reinitiating coverage of your company this week. We're following you very closely in the next 3 months. Thanks for joining us again on the program.
Thank you, Don.